nice, sweetheart. All right.
Testing 1, 2. Good morning, Vanakkam, Namaste. Dear family and friends, I'm Suri Governor, the niece of the late Auntie Sheila and Uncle Dina, and I will be your master of ceremonies for this funeral service. It is with a heavy heart that I stand in front of you today. When we heard the shocking news of the passing of late Auntie Sheila, we were totally devastated. I cannot find words to describe the pain, the feeling of emptiness, the sorrow when we heard of her passing. To Uncle Dina, Ravi, Danae, and Shivani, on behalf of my family, I would like to extend my sincere, heartfelt condolences on the passing of your dear mum, wife, and a lifelong partner. And Sheila was the youngest child of Mr. and Mrs. Esa Maharaj of Sydney. She has just one surviving sibling, her sister, Mrs. Uma Bisna. She was educated at the model primary school and then later completed her secondary education at Dozen Girls Secondary. She was qualified as an educator at the Springfield Training College, and then later she moved on to complete Bachelor of Arts and then the Bachelor of Arts Honours degree at the University of Durban, Westport. Uncle Dina and her were married for 49 years. A milestone indeed, and in this day and age, something to really celebrate. The love and strong bond they shared was truly remarkable. You would never ever see them in function alone. They were always together, supporting each other. They traveled widely and they raised a beautiful family together. And Sheila was a born leader. She was a natural. She had the gift of speaking at any function. She would never refuse being an MC at any function, and if it was an impromptu, she would do a superb job at it. Our childhood memories of her, we were little, myself maybe like 7 years old when we first met her. And what a pleasure it's been to have been brought up and spend quality time with her and her family throughout those years. She's been a loving mother, grandmother, aunt, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, a mentor, a leader, chairperson of many societies or organizations she was involved in, a strong woman, and the list goes on. Her passing has left a huge void. However, her imprint and legacy will live on forever. A beautiful and humble soul, your duty is done. Rest well, Auntie Sheila. We have 3 speakers today, as well as 2 tributes from family members who could not make it due to unforeseen circumstances. I would like to call to the podium our first speaker, Dr. Moodley, who I believe is a very close family friend and was a senior Afrikaans teacher and also worked for many years at the Department of Education. And she and Auntie Sheila were really close. Dr. Moodley.
Good morning, namaste, vanakkam to all of you. It is with great sadness that I stand before you to pay tribute to a phenomenal woman, Sheila Moodley, my friend, sister, confidant of more than 40 years. My tribute today is going to be twofold. One from the Fort family, and the other from to her as a sister. I want to share with you my personal encounter with Sheila and the impact of her leadership on Fort. I want to start with a quote from Nan Whitcomb. We do not have to rely on memories to recapture the spirit of those that we have loved and lost, but they live within our souls in some perfect sanctuary which even death cannot destroy. Sheila was the chairperson of Fort for 5 years and could have been longer, but health did not allow her to. And she steered that ship expertly, giving direction, advice, and perspective to all under her. Many may ask, what is Fort? And we take it for granted that everybody knows. But Fort is the fellowship of retired teachers. And that's what Fort stood for. And with the management and guidance, Sheila strengthened that fellowship and grew it into a Fort family, as many would understand and realize. The fellowship and leadership was such that a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood was instilled amongst all of us, and our Fort organization grew into a large family rather than an organization. Her forthright and courageous leadership was inspiring. Every member of Fort would have experienced some form of transformation, and perhaps in some ways they themselves cannot quite understand. And I'm so happy to see that Fort is well represented here. Thank you, Fort family. May I, in a personal capacity, on behalf of Fort, wish Dina and the family strength in the coming months to face this great loss. We will be here to support and help you along. I was very fortunate to have visited her in hospital. The day before the operation, although she was hooked up with all machines and so on, she was worried about my safety and kept saying to me, or writing to me because she couldn't talk at that stage, that I should leave before the traffic gets heavy, and she didn't want me to be late and so on. But that showed the kindness and caring person that she was. After her op, she looked cheerful. I saw her, all the tubes and machines had been removed, and she looked well, and we were so happy, and we looked forward to having her back home. And I told her, the first thing when I went, she asked, how was the Fort Christmas party? And then I told her it went well, but we all missed her. And I showed her some of the pictures that we took and told her that we're looking forward to seeing her soon once she's at home. And I'm so glad I spent the time with her there and will treasure those moments. At 9:30, I received a message from her saying that she was so grateful for everything. And I replied to her, well, we are going to be seeing you tomorrow at home. Only just a few hours later, I get that devastating call from Dina about her passing. And that is still so difficult to accept for many of us. Go well, dear sister and friend. May you rest in peace. knowing that your life and work have made a profound difference to those of us who had the privilege to know you. I will miss you, our late night chats, our weekend away, and the many lunches and dinners that we shared. Those special memories will always remain with us. To conclude, I want to read a poem by Jyoti Daly. We are here to celebrate your life and the measure of its worth, and every single life you touched while you were on this earth. We wish to pay our last respects. That's why we are all here, to thank you for your friendship and all the memories we hold dear. It's been a privilege to have known you. We were family, not just friends, and we will be able to carry your spirit until we meet up once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mano, for that touching tribute. I would like to read out the tribute, and this is from Shivani, her daughter. It says, Mommy, I would like to thank everybody for being here. I should be here today as well, but unfortunately, her sudden death during the holiday season made it impossible for me to get to Durban in time for the funeral. Most people know my mother as a strict teacher and later principal. She dedicated many years of her life to this profession, which was not easy in the public sector. My mother was well respected for her oratory skills as an MC and her superb command of the English language. She also was very talkative, a sociable person. I remember as a child, people would say there was no need for her children to talk, as our mother talked enough for all of us. And funny enough, Uncle Dina said the same, and now he has taken over. Which is why this was the worst part of her that this disease could have attacked. Not only was she a strict principal, but also a strict mother to the 3 children. However, I personally would never have guessed that she would turn out to be a very laid-back grandmother who spoiled her 2 grandchildren rotten at every chance she got. Sanjana and Marcel had her wrapped around their little fingers. Unfortunately, in the case of Marcel, it was not so easy to visit. In any case, she made the effort to come to Colombia as much as possible, for which we will always be grateful. Thank you. And I hand over to the musician before we continue. At this point, I would like to call a relative, Auntie Inno, to come up to read a traditional song.
பிதாவே அன்பான தேவா அருமை இரட்சகரே ஆவியானவரே அம்மா பிதாவே அன்பான தேவா அருமை இரட்சகரே ஆவியானவரே நான் வார்த்தேன் அறியாமல் அழைத்தேன் என் தேச தேடி வந்தேன் எங்கோ நான் வார்த்தேன் அறியாமல் அழைத்தேன் என் தேச தேடி வந்தேன் நெஞ்சார அழைத்தேன் முத்தங்கள் கொடுத்து நிழலாய் மாறிவிட்டேன் நெஞ்சார அழைத்தேன் முத்தங்கள் கொடுத்து நிழலாய் மாறிவிட்டேன் நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி ஐயா நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி அம்மா பிதாவே அன்பான தேவா அருமை இரட்சகரே ஆவியானவரே தாழ்மையில் இருந்தேன் தள்ளாடி நடித்தேன் தயவாய் நினைவு கொண்டேன் தாழ்மையில் இருந்தேன் தள்ளாடி நடித்தேன் தயவாய் நினைவு கொண்டேன் கலங்காத என்றும் கண்ணீரை குடைத்து கருப்பற்று நனைந்துகிறேன் கலங்காத என்றும் கண்ணீரை குடைத்து கருப்பற்று நனைந்துகிறேன் நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி ஐயா நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி அம்மா பிதாவே அன்பான தேவா அருமை இரட்சகரே ஆவியானவரே ஒளியான சேத்து பாத என்னை தூக்கி எடுத்தீரே ஒளியான சேத்து பாத என்னை தூக்கி எடுத்தீரே கல்வாரி ரத்தம் எனக்காக சிந்தி கருவை அணைத்தீரே கல்வாரி ரத்தம் எனக்காக சிந்தி கருவில் அணைத்தீரே நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி ஐயா நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி அம்மா பிதாவே அன்பான தேவா அருமை இரட்சகரே ஆவியானவரே இறைவன் பகலும் கூடு இருந்து என்னாலும் காப்பவரே இறைவன் பகலும் கூடு இருந்து என்னாலும் காப்பவரே மறவாத மகிமைக்கு பாத்திரே மறுவாத தீபம் மாறத்தினேசு மகிமைக்கு பாத்திரே நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி ஐயா நன்றி உமக்கு நன்றி அம்மா பிதாவே அன்பான தேவா அருமே ரட்சகரே ஆவியானவரே ஆவியானவரே. Go well, Sheila. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Imbo, for that beautiful rendition. I would like to now call our next speaker, Mr. Ricky Pillay. He is the retired principal of Reservoir Secondary, and I believe he worked very closely with Auntie Sheila when she reigned as principal at Reservoir Secondary. Mr. Ricky Pillay.
Madam Program Director, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Julia, Ravi, Vinay and Shivani, as well as the members of Sheila's extended family, my deep sympathy on your irreparable loss. Sheila was my principal, but more than that, she was my mentor, confidant, friend and sister. Many years ago, during one of our conversations, she said to me, Ricky, when I die, I want poetry to be recited, appropriate music to be played, and for people to remember me as I lived. So I thought it would be appropriate to read a poem by David Hawkins, titled, She Is Gone. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. You can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love that you share. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she is gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can could and did speak about everything. So Dina asked her one day, Sheila, why did you turn your back on everything and marry Dina? That's how close we were going to ask the question. And she said, Ricky, it was a day at St. Louis Secondary in the staff room, and I heard this voice, a beautiful voice, and I was immediately attracted to the person whose voice it was. And it turned out it was Dina, and I'd like to say the rest is history. But I think it demonstrates one of her many qualities, and that is her ability to cut through the frills and feathers and to see people for who they really are. The other outstanding defining characteristic was her ability to navigate the full strata in her personal and professional life. She could speak to the general assistants, often in their vernacular, and a few minutes later, all court of staff, parents, and even departmental officials. and she could do so with a finesse and sophistication that few people possess. Sheila was fearless, and I saw that firsthand. Many years ago, we had an official from the department come there to monitor the NSC exams. And at that time, I had to go up, and just before the children could start writing their paper, I had occasion to reprimand one of our learners. And the monitor heard that, and she did two things that were in Sheila's eyes an open declaration of war. For one, she telephoned the SEM, or reported me to the SEM. And secondly, she chose to deal with me in that way. So, when Mrs. van der Leeren phoned Mrs. Moodley, she said, "You know, Dad van der Leeren, you know, Dad, my deputy and I run the school, and it works like clockwork. And I don't expect anybody from the outside to tell me what to do." Now that, from a principal, at a time when many principals cringe at the mention of an SEM. And of course, the following day, the official came back, and she called the officer was there. And she led the way. She put on a glass and talk like that. And she laid to this woman. I've never seen so many shades of red and pink in my life. But that's who she was. If she took a shine to anybody, she backed them to the hilt. Sheila got to Reservoir Hill secondly in 2004. I can tell you, and I have to be absolutely truthful because I think it's a testament to Sheila. The school had about 4,000 rand in its current fund. And she's turned it around. And I remember on many occasions saying, we need to have reserves in the school that will allow us to run the school for 1 year, even if we didn't get a cent in school fees and in funding. And that's exactly what happened in 2020. We were able to withstand that storm simply because of Sheila's vision. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Sheila and I were cut from the same cloth. We place loyalty very high on our list of priorities. And it is what made us gel so well, personally and professionally. I remember her saying to me years ago, "Vicky, I can put my life in your hands, and I know I'll be safe." And I could say the same of Sheila. She never let me down, ever. I owe her to Sheila, again, personally and professionally. And she would not dispense advice, but she would put words of wisdom every now and then. And one of the things she said to me, and I've held it very close to my heart over the years, she said, when you open your hand to give something, don't ever close it. That was a generosity spirit that she had. In closing, I want to say that I'll always remember Sheila as a woman with exquisite taste in everything. And anyway, I'm glad she was not forced to lose that dignity in the final days, because that dignity and sophistication were there. Sheila, my friend, my sister, I shouldn't sit here, but I want to remember you as that bubbly personality that would come to my office every morning while I was doing the relief process. And we talk about stories. I'm not able to speak about that yet. In the most honest and open way possible. Sheila, rest in peace. And considering that we are at the same time, we'll probably meet in the same place sometime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moodley, for those touching, soul-healing words. Before I call our final speaker, I would like to read out the second tribute, and this is from Tali, my daughter-in-law, who also couldn't be with us today. My mother-in-law made a promise on my wedding day. She said that I was now part of a family and that they would always treat me like a daughter. Mommy, you kept your word. I will forever appreciate your welcome of me. Not once did you make me feel like a stranger. I was proud and honored to call you Mommy. I cherish the relationship that we had. I really cannot imagine a world without you in it. You were such a presence in all our lives, a shining light, and you'll always be in our hearts. Our mother was a pillar of strength, ferociously loyal and protective. She was wise and kind. She was loved, admired, and respected by many people, especially by her children and her 2 grandchildren. My daughter loved her grandmother and was blessed to have had a very special relationship with her. Sanju asked me to say that she will miss her grandmother very much and she will always love her. Sleep well, Mommy. We will miss you. Thank you. I would now like to call upon Mrs. Delrose Barsa, who is a close family friend and a retired educator, and I believe that Auntie Sheila and her taught English as well in Durban Girls Secondary. Mrs. Delrose Barsa, please come up.
It's already afternoon, so very good afternoon to all of you that are here. During the holiday time, especially on Christmas Eve, it's difficult to get a crowd together, but I think it's a testament of the type of person that Sheila was, that so many of you have made the time to be here. When you're the last speaker, you've got to do a lot of amendments because a lot of other people have come before you and they've mentioned what you wanted to mention yourself. So you will forgive me if I just scroll down here and try to find my place and try to make my amendments as I go around. I met Sheila when I came to Durban Girls Secondary many years ago when I was much younger. And we came to be known in some quarters as the Terrible Twins, because we did cause trouble, but good trouble, because Sheila was always up for changing things for the better, and so was I. We got on like a house on fire and got up to a lot of mischief as well. I've heard many people speak here this morning about Sheila in a very staid, how dignified she was and so on, and she was. But she was also very naughty, and that appealed to me greatly. So we got on very well. She had a spontaneity about her, fun, dynamic, lively quality to her personality, which was very, very appealing to many. And I also asked her about how she met her husband, and she was never shy of telling us. I fell in love with his voice. And those of you, obviously all of you would have heard Gina speak. He's got a beautiful, resonant, deep, velvety baritone voice, which would have been in another time, in another Othello and Desdemona in Shakespeare's great play. And they were both fortunate to have two sons who inherited that same voice. So Sheila was thrice blessed. And so Sheila and Dina got married against convention, against often delusional barriers that people put up, culturally, religious-wise, caste-wise, and all the rest of it. No one has the right to tell you who to love. I wish people would learn that. And Sheila broke barriers. She was always breaking barriers, always a pioneer, but always moving forward. And so began a marriage that lasted now 49 years. 49 years. Who has that? We speak of loss. We speak of our grief. And yes, we must process those things. But today I want us to look at what existed, what Sheila brought to the world, to her family, and not just to her family. She didn't live just for her family. She lived a larger life in the community, in society, and made remarkable, remarkable strides wherever she went. She made a positive impact, an impact for positive change. And so I would like us to think about that. Not many people have that many years together. Not many people reach 70 years old. And not many people have such a wonderful, eventful, creative, dynamic, impactful life as Sheila had. Sheila was there in front speaking, always the extrovert, and Dina would be there beside her, often with arms folded and sometimes bowing his head and trying to suppress a giggle. Or maybe a slight nervousness of what she was going to say next. And I posted a picture that somebody sent to me on the teachers on the union chat of Sheila presenting something at a function and Dina standing in just that pose next to her. And I said that, I thought to myself, that said it all. Sheila had impeccable taste in clothes, in manners, in demeanor. She was of the old school, very graceful, but she could tell you off when she needed to tell you off, and she didn't mince her words either. They say you must not speak ill of the dead, and I'm not speaking ill of her, I'm telling you the truth. I'll never forget a beautiful pantsuit that she had, which was pale pink linen, beautifully cut, and it was a tad snug. And our principal at the time, Mrs. Poovelingham, the late Mrs. Poovelingham, she's not here, she can't take me out, so I can speak freely now. She came into the staff room as she usually did, and she would observe. And she said in her lyrical style, "Oh, Mrs. Moodley, your pants make me nervous." And Sheila shot back, typically, never ever short of a sharp retort. She said, "Don't be nervous, I buy very good quality clothes." And then there was another incident that I remember where she came to school and told us about this large, boorish white man who pulled up alongside her and he was angry because he thought that she'd cut in front of him and he gave her the middle finger. And she told us that she rolled her window down, and I can't repeat here what she said. Suffice to say that it was absolutely appropriate and must have left him in shock for the rest of his life. I said to her, "Weren't you afraid? I mean, he was a big guy, he could have cut you off." She said, "No, I know my car's faster than the junkie was driving." And so I just shot off from the stop street. That was Sheila. She was a mentor, a counselor, and a friend to me. She gave us such good advice as a young couple, my husband and I, with our two young children. Her home was always open to us. And she was always full of advice, not imposing her views, but gently advising. And as I said, we got up to a lot of mischief at school. Mrs. Prasad is sitting somewhere there. I saw her here earlier on. There she is. She was our departmental head. And I think she's living proof of what I've been saying. We did cause a lot of trouble, didn't we? She was very well spoken, exceptionally well spoken. And some of you may have read what I wrote of her. She was never, ever, ever short of a word. And not just any word, the appropriate word, the correct word. Beautifully enunciated, beautifully spoken. And she was not patient with fools, especially fools who came from officialdom with all their regimented thinking and their 101 rules, many of which were not really relevant for the time. She was unafraid. She was not one of those teachers or managers, principals in schools that cower, in the face of authority. She stood tall and she spoke her mind. I heard two words being used here by the MC who said when she reigned at Reservoir Hills High, and somebody else mentioned her holding court with departmental officials. And I thought those two words were so appropriate because Sheila had that kind of regal presence. And she was lucky enough to have a bit of height, unlike some of us, that, made her have that kind of commanding presence. I remember saying to her, I'm just giving you little snapshots now. I remember WhatsApping her one morning and saying, you know what, my grey roots were showing, but I said, what the hell? I'm just going to put a headband on and go to my 6 o'clock yoga class. And she sent me back a message when I came back and read it. She said, oh, you know what, we just need to get a good hairdresser and grow old gracefully. But Sheila will not grow old. She will remain forever young. Nothing can touch her now. Not the frustration with stupid government officials, not the frustration with officialdom, not any illness, not any disease, no affliction can touch her now. She will remain forever as she was, a beautiful, regal, gorgeous woman. Not perfect, but nearly. And when something like this happens, we reflect. We ask ourselves, why did this have to happen? Why did she have to get ill? But the universe, in strange ways, is very kind to us. Gives us the time to think about the possibility of what we never thought of. To entertain the idea of finality and introduces it to us gradually. And although we may not see it then, but kindly too. Because we are so blessed with a stand of optimism where we think we will be young, we will be fit, and we will live forever. So we plan for tomorrow. And we are so lucky as human beings that we can do that. But somebody once said that there are only two certain things in life, death and taxes. And don't we know that in South Africa, especially the latter one. And so we must seize every moment to live it as fully as we can. Sheila's life is an example to us all of how one can live in the wider world and still have a very personal life and make such a contribution so that we can say when we leave this earth, I did make a difference. Sheila left the world a better place than when she found it. And for that, we must all be grateful. To Ravi and Vinay and Dina and the children, our heartfelt love goes out to you. You may not have Sheila, Dina, but you've got a host of friends and some family who care deeply for you and who love you very much. And you can always count on us to be there for you. I hope you will always remember that. Go well, Sheila. They say, you have only one life. But if you do it right, once is all you need. and Sheila lived her life to the full. I am so glad that I had the privilege of meeting her. And I'll be able to say these few words to you about her. I'm sure I've left out a whole lot of things that I meant to say, but there will be time for that. For now, I think we must celebrate her life and be grateful for all the years she had, and for all the years Tina and she had together, and all the years that she had with her children. How many of us are blessed enough to know that kind of relationship? To be able to see our children grown up, adults, professionals in their own right, and then to close our eyes. It's a gift, and Sheila had it. Thank you very much for listening to me. I can't talk a marathon session, but I'll say goodbye for now. I hope I made you smile. When we think of Sheila, let's smile. Christmas Eve will never be the same. Sheila has made her mark. She'll always be remembered. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Yellow Rose, for those inspiring words. You definitely were two peas in a pod, and I can see that you had some fun times. So thank you for those tributes. At this stage, I would like to hand over to the priest, because I think we have run out of time. So, Pastor Pandit Maharaj.
Ladies and gentlemen, and namaste to one of you. My condolences to the extended family. For the soul to reach its final destination, I would ask you to put your hands together and we will all pray. Hari Om, Hari Om, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyapatam Chena Characharam Tatparitam Darishtam Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Shantakaram Pujakasharam Padamam Surashamam Mekavaranam Subangatam Lakshmikaditam Kamalanayanam Chogiri Bandhanam Vande Vishnu Vayaranantu Namastatam. Namaste Dharam Raja Triyalokatam. Namaste Ravi Bhakte Nirmalaye Jai Namah. Namaste Sara Pujitam. Namo Dharaye Mahatmane. Jnanam Vijnanam Rupantu Astute. जहाँ विश्वान का पुत्र जमराज करता है, जहाँ लोगों को दिखाने वाली स्थान है, जहाँ पानी के प्रवाह चलते हैं, इस प्रेत को अमर करें। ओम यात्रा कामनं चरणं क्रियालोकतं देवा लोकनाथं यात्रा देवता समृद्धं कृति। तो लोगों तीसरे विभाग में जहाँ इच्छा से अनुसार समझ किया जाता है, वहाँ के स्वस्ति इस प्रेत को अमर करे। ओम यात्रा कामनं निष्ठं सौधा यात्रा देवता समृद्धं कृति। यह सब कर्म करने वाले हैं और निष्कर्म करने वाले हैं, यहाँ मूल स्थान है। ओम मंत्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तहीनं जनार्दनं चैत्वा पूजितं मया देव परिपूरितम् आमोद्यां पुनरेकाक्षाणां नरसिंहं देवासुदानवाहं दिव्यकेशं जगन्नाथं भाग्यसिंहवरदायकं सागुणं चैगुणतीतं गोविन्दं गरुडध्वजं जानकीतुवल्लभं प्रणमामि सदा भक्त्वे नारायणं परं। दुःखमे दिक्मे घोरस्वं शत्रु पीडितात्मा फलमायुक्तं प्रभो। यज्ञ अर्थात में सोम किया जाता है, यज्ञ के वास्ती अभी किया जाता है। ओम अतिश्री पुष्पापीतवायुक्तं ये नंदनाथं देवं कुरु यथा प्रभु। I would ask you to rise and please join me with the Shanti Path. Hari Om, Hari Om, Dhyau Shanti, Antarikshadvam Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Rapa Shanti, Rushvadeva Shanti, Vanaspatye Shanti, Vishwadeva Shanti, Brahma